Good evening. Welcome to another episode of project writing format for undergraduate students. In our last class, we discussed about the one of the components of project writing, which happens to be the introduction. So we discussed about the background to the knowledge. So the we also discussed about the statement of the problem, the aim and objectives of the study. We discussed about the research questions, the significance of the studies, the scope of the studies, and the definition of terms. But today, we are going to look at literature review, which is the second component of the project writing for undergraduate students. What do we understand by literature review? By this definition, literature review is the documentation of a comprehensive review of the published and unpublished work from secondary sources of data in the areas of specific interest to the researchers. So basically, what this simply means is that researchers must be able to do extensive studies of what has been published, and be able to identify some of the key areas, some of the key components, like the ideas, like the concept, like the methodology used. As the researchers must be able to identify that to the research gaps. Researchers must be able to identify that. So what are the purpose? Why do we need to undergo literature review? One is to explore ideas, theories in theories of published papers, books, scholarly writings, and also provide explanations and critical evaluation on previous research. Then the second one is to provide an account on what has been published on certain topic of interest. So then the third one is to do or to provide a critical analysis of a particular knowledge through classifications, summary, comparisons of past research, theoretical articles, and the like. So then the next subsection is the mapping and analyzing ideas in literature review. So what are those things that we need to extract from literature review? So we need to extract the core ideas, we need to extract the concept used, we need to extract the methodology employed, and how are these concepts, how are these components, are they being operationalized for empirical work. So now mapping ideas. Mapping ideas simply means to organize our content into sections and subsections, and this will enable us to make a connection between ideas that are contained in different articles, ideas that are contained in different books, ideas that are contained in some of the published papers over a given period of time. Then the second one is to be able to classify uh, our work. So is to be able to classify our work. Without doing a classification, the work may look bulky and may not look systematic. So now, how do we categorize our literature review? So there are 4 points that can be used to classify our literature review, and most importantly is a norm. When you are writing a literature review, so the first one, you have to consider the conceptual framework of your study. What is the function of this conceptual framework? These are the papers that you read, these are the papers that you understudy. So you provide a linkage of those paper, how those paper are interwoven, how they are connected, how one problem is solving another problem. So these are the conceptual framework. So there should be a flow in the literature, in the model, that in the conceptual framework. Then the second one is a theoretical framework, the theoretical background. So a researchers or an author must provide facts with theoretical background, not just uh, not just a conceptual framework. So you must justify your argument theoretically. So, and this theoretical background must be relevant to the topic of your interest. Then the third one is the empirical studies. So the empirical studies are abstract. So they're abstract in nature, and sometimes they're optional depending on the domain, depending on the areas of interest. So the fourth one is related work. So the related work is just a summary, and the how you're able to identify the key components such as the research gap, so the strength of the method you are applying, and you must be able to justify all these arguments. So literature review pre-writing. So here, how do we arrange our materials? So we can arrange our materials in three basic blocks. The first one is summaries of existing work on the topic. Then the second one is the critical evaluation of the previous work. And the third one is a general and specific conclusion about work done to date on the topic. So these are the ways we can do a pre-writing, literature review pre-writing. So we also have possible structures that we can use in literature to structure our literature review. So there are three. So the summative, the analytical, and the formative evaluation. So the summative evaluation, this is the problems, the gap that we're able to identify from the novelty, from the literatures. Then the second one, the analytical evaluation. So these are the causes and the effect that we're able to identify from the problem, from the research gap, or from the method used. And these are the solutions some researchers, some scholars have profiled to those problems. So, and that one is known as a formative evaluation. So these three structures are known as the systematic ways of writing our literatures. We can also use a logical approach, that is a chronological arrangement, and also the familiar to unfamiliar arrangements. Then we can also combine these two, the chronological and familiar to unfamiliar arrangement. So as a researchers, so your as a researchers, your literature review must be able to answer these questions. And once you're able to answer these questions, then your literature review is good to go, is perfect. So the first question is that what are the origins and definition of the topic? So you just don't formulate a topic, you just don't come up with a topic. It has to be tailored to your findings. Then also, what are the major issues and debate about the topic? Uh, uh, is there a direction? What are the findings? What are the debate about the topic? Is there has research been concluded on that area? So as a researcher, so you need to do your findings. Then the third one is that what are the key sources? What are the key sources? So as a researcher, so you have to be able to justify all this. So then the next one, what are the key theories and ideas, as earlier mentioned in my explanation? So what are the epistemology and ontological ground for the discipline? What are the main problems that have been addressed to date? How is knowledge on the topic structured and organized? what are the political standpoints. So once a researcher, once as a researcher, once you as a researcher, once you are able to answer these questions, then your literature review is okay to go. So on this note, I will stop here, and please do remember to click the like button or subscribe to my YouTube channel or share this video. So thank you for coming and thank you for listening.